human-adopted alien sisters, and their dying grandmother by morning. His destiny changed forever. HFY, the night was cold and heavy with storm. Dark clouds hung low over the ruined city, and the sound of distant thunder mixed with the faraway echoes of explosions. Daniel, a former soldier who had long left the war behind, walked the broken streets alone. He carried only a small bag and the weight of memories he could never escape. His home was at the edge of the city, a quiet shack where he tried to live far from people, far from the violence he once knew. But fate had other plans. As he crossed an alley, Daniel heard a strange sound. It was not thunder, not the howl of wind. It was a child's cry. He froze, listening harder. Then he saw them. Two alien girls, no more than children, stood shivering in the rain. Their skin was pale with faint silver marks that glowed softly in the dark. They clutched each other in fear, and between them lay an older alien woman, their grandmother. She was weak, coughing hard, her body trembling as if every breath was a battle. Daniel's instincts told him to walk away. Trouble followed anything alien in this city. But his heart, hardened by war, could not ignore them. Slowly, he knelt and looked into the frightened eyes of the sisters. "Come with me," he said. They hesitated, but when lightning cracked across the sky and thunder roared, they clung to him. Daniel lifted the grandmother in his arms, surprised at how light she was, as if death had already claimed most of her strength. Together, they hurried through the rain until they reached his home. Inside, Daniel gave them food, blankets, and a fire. The sisters whispered in a language he did not know, but their eyes showed gratitude. The grandmother sat near the fire, coughing blood into her hand. She looked at Daniel with sharp, knowing eyes, as if she could see through him. "You should not have helped us," she said weakly. Her voice was broken, but her words were clear. "Now your destiny is changed." Daniel frowned. "I don't care about destiny. You needed help. That's all." But he felt a chill at her words. That night, as the storm raged outside, Daniel tried to sleep. Yet his dreams were filled with strange visions fire in the skies. Alien armies marching, and his own face standing at the center of it all. He woke with sweat on his brow, his hand shaking. Something was wrong by morning. The city was no longer quiet. Daniel awoke to the sound of his old military radio crackling. He hadn't used it in years, but now it was alive with encrypted messages. He recognized the codes. They were war signals. Something was coming. The grandmother sat near the window, staring at the horizon where smoke rose into the sky. "They have found us," she whispered. "They always find us." Before Daniel could ask what she meant, the ground shook. A massive explosion ripped through the street outside, shattering windows and throwing Daniel to the floor. He rushed out to see fire engulfing nearby buildings. It was not random. Someone had attacked his neighborhood, and it was clear they were searching for someone. The grandmother struggled to stand, her eyes glowing faintly. "They are here for the children. You must protect them." "Who are they?" Daniel demanded. She coughed hard, blood dripping from her lips. "Hunters. Assassins. Both human and alien. My granddaughters carry a secret one that can save or destroy us all." Before Daniel could respond, the sound of boots thundered in the street. Armed men in dark armor appeared, their helmets glowing red. They were not soldiers, these were mercenaries. Without warning, they opened fire. Daniel's training took over. He pushed the sisters down, grabbing his old rifle from the wall. Bullets tore through the shack, wood splintering everywhere. He fired back, hitting one mercenary square in the chest. The girls screamed as the grandmother chanted words in her alien tongue. A faint shield of light forming around them, but the house could not hold. A bomb was thrown through the window, and in an instant, the home exploded in fire. Daniel felt the heat consume everything, and then silence. When he opened his eyes, he was lying in the rubble. Smoke choked his lungs, but the sisters were alive, shielded by the grandmother's last ounce of power. She was weaker now, almost gone. "You cannot stay here," she whispered. "You must run. Take them far. Protect them. They are the last of my bloodline, the bloodline of a queen." Daniel's heart pounded. He wanted to refuse, to say he was just a man who wanted peace. But as he looked at the terrified sisters, clutching each other tightly, he knew he could not walk away. They fled into the city, hiding in alleys as more explosions lit the sky. Above, alien warships clashed with human fleets, the night filled with fire and thunder. Daniel realized the war had already begun, and somehow he was now in the middle of it. Days passed with no rest. Daniel guided the sisters through ruined streets, always hunted, never safe. Mercenaries chased them, drones scanned the skies, and both humans and aliens seemed determined to find the children. Everywhere, whispers followed them, rumors of the lost heirs, the bloodline weapon, the prophecy. Daniel demanded answers from the grandmother, but she was fading fast. Her coughs grew worse, her body weaker. Finally, one night, as they hid in the ruins of an old cathedral, she revealed the truth. "My granddaughters are not just children," she said. "They are heirs of the Vela dynasty, rulers of a once great empire. Their blood carries the key to awaken an ancient power, one that can bring peace or endless war. Many seek it, few understand it, and you, human, are now bound to it. For the prophecy spoke of a warrior, not alien, not of royal blood, but a human who would stand as their protector. That is you, Daniel." Daniel shook his head. "I'm no warrior anymore. I left that life." Grandmother's eyes burned with final strength. "You cannot leave destiny. It has already chosen you," her words echoed in his mind. He wanted to deny them, but deep down, he felt their truth. The next morning, as dawn broke, their hiding place was attacked again. Alien war machines rolled through the streets, firing plasma that turned stone to ash. Human soldiers clashed with them in brutal combat. Daniel led the sisters through fire and chaos, fighting with every weapon he could find. Explosions shook the ground, buildings collapsed, and screams filled the air. In the heart of battle, the grandmother collapsed, her time at an end. She clutched Daniel's hand and whispered her last words. "Protect them, for they are hope, and you are destiny." Her body grew still, and the sisters wept. Daniel pulled them close, his jaw set in grim determination. He would not fail them. But just as he thought he could escape, the sky opened. A massive alien warship descended, larger than any he had ever seen. From its dark hull, a figure emerged, an alien warlord clad in armor, his voice thundering across the battlefield. "Daniel." The warlord roared, his eyes locked on the human. "At last we meet. The prophecy is true." Daniel froze. How could this warlord know his name? Why had destiny tied him to these alien children? The sisters clung to him as fire rained from the sky. The war was no longer just about survival. It was about the fate of two species. And Daniel knew one thing: his life would never be the same again. The story ended in fire, smoke, and mystery, and the true battle had only just begun. Lucas was a mechanic, nothing more. He lived in a small human colony on the edge of a barren world, far away from the centers of power and war. Every day he fixed engines, cleaned tools, and tried not to think about the endless fighting between humans and aliens that burned across the galaxy. He told himself he was safe here, that war would never reach his simple life. He was wrong. One evening, as the sun set and the colony lights flickered on, Lucas walked home from the workshop. He heard distant rumbling explosions far beyond the mountains. He frowned, uneasy, but thought it was just another skirmish he could ignore. Then, as he passed an alley near the supply depot, he heard soft voices. Weak, frightened. Curiosity pulled him closer. That was when he saw them, two alien girls crouched in the shadows, holding up their grandmother, who was barely breathing. The sisters' silver eyes glowed faintly in the dark, and strange marks ran along their skin like broken lightning. The grandmother's face was pale, her breathing shallow, each cough tearing through her fragile body. Lucas froze. Everyone knew the rules. Aliens were enemies. If he was caught helping them, he could be killed. But when the younger sister's eyes met his, full of fear and silent pleading, his heart broke. Without thinking, he whispered, Come with me. Quickly, they hesitated. But the grandmother collapsed, forcing the choice. Lucas lifted her onto his back and guided the sisters through empty streets to his workshop. He hid them in a back room, gave them food, water, and blankets. The sisters ate silently, staring at him with mistrust, but also with hope. "Why are you helping us?" the older sister asked in broken human speech. "Because no one else would." Lucas answered softly. That night, as the colony slept, Lucas lay awake. He kept hearing strange sounds from the room where they rested, whispers in an alien tongue. The grandmother's ragged breathing, and something else, a low hum, as if the very air pulsed with energy by dawn. Lucas's life had changed forever. The peace of the morning was shattered by the sound of boots and engines. Soldiers stormed the colony, spreading out in squads. Their leader shouted for everyone to gather. Lucas slipped outside, pretending nothing was wrong, and listened. The soldiers announced they were searching for fugitives to alien children and their dying elder. Any human hiding them would be punished as a traitor. Lucas's heart pounded. He glanced at his workshop, where the sisters hid. He thought about telling the truth, saving his own life. But something in him refused. Then came the first explosion. A fuel depot at the colony's edge erupted in a wall of fire, shaking the ground and sending people screaming. Soldiers rushed to control the chaos, but more bombs followed, sabotage timed perfectly. Lucas knew it was no accident. Someone wanted destruction. Grabbing his hidden guests, he led them through smoke and rubble. "Stay low," he shouted. Flames swallowed the streets as he guided them out of the colony. Behind them, the grandmother coughed blood but whispered, "Thank you, human." They barely escaped as the colony burned. From a hill, Lucas looked back at the place he had called home. Half the settlement was gone, turned into ash. He felt a heavy guilt because he knew the soldiers hadn't lied. The aliens with him were not ordinary refugees. Whoever they were, powerful enemies hunted them that night. As they hid in an abandoned mining cave, Lucas demanded answers. "Tell me the truth. Why are they chasing you?" The grandmother's eyes glowed faintly as she whispered, "Because of who they are. My granddaughters carry the blood of the Vela line, the last rulers of a great empire. In their blood is a code, a key to awaken an ancient weapon left sleeping for centuries. Both humans and aliens want it. Some want to control it, others want to destroy it, but none of them will show mercy. That is why we run." Lucas stared at the sisters, their young faces lit by firelight. They looked like children, but now he saw the weight they carried. A weapon in their blood? A destiny written before they were born? He shook his head, unable to believe. But he could not deny the truth. He had felt it. The hum in the air, the strange glow on their skin, it was real. From that moment, Lucas swore he would protect them. Yet danger was never far. The galaxy was at war. Human fleets clashed with alien armadas above shattered worlds. Cities burned under bombardments. Refugees fled across space, hunted by both sides. Lucas and the sisters moved from one ruined outpost to another, always chased, never safe. The grandmother grew weaker, her life fading. She warned Lucas again and again, beware betrayal. Not all who smile are friends. Someone close will sell you. Lucas did not want to believe her, but soon her words proved true. After weeks on the run, Lucas reached out to his old friend Marcus, a resistance fighter. Marcus had always hated the government and their endless wars. Lucas believed he could trust him. Marcus took them in, gave them food and shelter in a hidden base beneath the mountains. For the first time, Lucas felt hope, but the grandmother's eyes remained sharp. "He is not loyal," she whispered. Lucas dismissed it. Marcus was his brother in arms. He would never betray him. Then came the night of fire. The base was attacked suddenly. Mercenaries and soldiers storming the tunnels. Explosions shook the walls. Flames tore through corridors. Lucas fought desperately, dragging the sisters with him. He shouted Marcus's name, but his friend was gone. Later in the chaos, Lucas saw him standing with the enemy, pointing the way. The betrayal cut deeper than any wound. The grandmother was right. Lucas barely escaped with the sisters. But the resistance base was destroyed. As they fled through burning forests, he realized the truth. Marcus had sold them. Trading their location for his own power, now they were hunted harder than ever. War followed them everywhere. Warships blackened the skies, cities crumbled under bombs, and the sound of screams became constant. Lucas fought with weapons he barely understood, protecting the sisters as best as he could. He saw horrors he could never forget: fields of ash, rivers of fire, human and alien corpses piled together. And still, the grandmother warned him, the true choice will come soon. Save them or sacrifice them. One path brings peace. The other brings destruction. Lucas could not sleep. The words haunted him. Could he really protect them forever? Or was the galaxy right to fear what they carried in their blood? One night, deep in the ruins of a dead city, the grandmother collapsed. Her time had come. She clutched Lucas's hand, her grip weak but urgent. Remember, human, their blood is power, but it is also hope. Protect them, for they are the last chance for peace. She breathed her last, and the sisters wept, their cries echoing through the empty city. Lucas held them close, his heart torn. He wanted to promise he would protect them forever, but he knew the galaxy would never stop hunting. Before he could think further, enemy forces closed in. Armored soldiers surrounded the ruins. Warships loomed overhead. And then it happened. The eldest sister stood, her silver eyes blazing. Energy surged through her body, crackling like lightning. She raised her hand, and a wave of power erupted. Tearing through stone, steel, and soldiers alike, Lucas watched in shock. The child he had sworn to protect was no longer just a child. She was something greater, something terrifying. The soldiers fell, the city shook, and silence followed. The girl collapsed, breathing hard, her power spent. Lucas knelt beside her, fear and love clashing in his heart. He finally understood why the galaxy feared them. If that power grew, nothing could stop it. Not even him. As the ruins burned and warships circled above, Lucas whispered to himself, "What have I done?" The story ended in fire and betrayal, with no clear answer, only the promise of darker days ahead. The night sky burned with fire. Alien warships clashed with human fleets high above, their weapons lighting the darkness like falling stars. The world shook under bombardments, cities crumbling into ashdod. Far from the center of battle, Ethan lived a quiet life. He was a farmer, a man who had tried to leave war behind. Once, he had been a soldier, but after too many battles and too much blood, he walked away. Now he lived in the countryside, tending to his land, trying to forget. But war never forgets. One night, while checking his fields after a storm, Ethan saw smoke rising in the distance. Curious and uneasy, he followed the trail until he reached the edge of a battlefield. Broken machines lay scattered, flames still burning. Among the wreckage, he saw movement. Two young alien girls struggled to carry an old woman across the burning ground. The woman, clearly their grandmother, was coughing hard, her body frail and close to death. The girl's silver eyes glowed faintly, filled with fear and desperation. Ethan hesitated. They were aliens, the same kind he had fought years ago. But when one of the girls stumbled and cried out in pain, something inside him broke. He could not leave them there. He rushed forward. "Come on," he shouted. He lifted the grandmother in his strong arms, surprising himself with how light she felt, as if her body was already fading. The sisters followed, clinging to each other. He brought them back to his farmhouse, hiding them from patrols that searched the countryside. Inside, he gave them food, water, and blankets. The sisters whispered in their strange language, while the grandmother sat in silence, her eyes sharp despite her weakness. "You should not have taken us," she whispered at last. "Your life will never be the same." Ethan frowned. "You were dying out there. What was I supposed to do?" "Leave you." The old woman gave a bitter smile. "Kindness has a price. You will see." That night, as Ethan lay in bed, he heard strange whispers. Not voices, but something deeper, like a hum in the air. He dreamed of fire raining from the skies, of armies clashing, and of himself standing at the center of it all, holding the two sisters' hands. When he woke, the dream felt like a warning. The warning came true the very next day. At dawn, his farm was attacked. A fleet of alien drones descended, raining fire. Plasma beams cut through his barn, which exploded in a wall of flames. Ethan grabbed his old rifle and fired, knocking down drones while shouting for the sisters to hide. The grandmother stood in the doorway, chanting in her alien tongue. A faint shield shimmered around the girls, protecting them from falling debris. But her body shook violently, every word tearing her apart. Ethan fought with everything he had, but the farm was destroyed. Flames devoured the fields, and smoke filled the sky. He led the family into the forest, barely escaping as the farmhouse collapsed into ash. That night, they camped among the ruins of an old stone tower. The grandmother sat close to the fire, coughing blood into her hand. Finally, she revealed the truth. "My granddaughters are not ordinary children," she said. "They are the last of the Vela bloodline, heirs of a queen who once ruled with wisdom and peace. Their blood carries a secret code, a key to an ancient weapon. Humans fear it. Aliens fear it. Both sides will kill to control it." Ethan stared at the sisters, shocked. They looked so young, so innocent. Yet now he saw the strange glow on their skin, the way the air seemed to hum around them. "I'm no hero," Ethan said firmly. "I'm just a farmer. I don't want this." The grandmother's eyes burned with fire. "It is not about what you want. Destiny does not ask permission. It chooses, and it has chosen you." Her words struck him like a blade. He wanted to deny them, but deep down, he felt their truth. Days turned to weeks. Ethan led the sisters across war-torn lands, always hunted, never safe. They passed through cities reduced to rubble, skies filled with burning ships, and fields turned into graves. He fought soldiers, mercenaries, and machines, protecting the girls with skills he thought he had left behind. Everywhere they went, whispers followed them, rumors of the lost heirs, the children of prophecy, the weapon of blood. The grandmother grew weaker with every step. Her body was failing, but her spirit was strong. She taught the sisters old chants, ancient songs, and secrets of their people. And she warned Ethan again and again, "You are not just their protector. You are the bridge between our worlds. If you fail, all will burn." Ethan tried to believe her, but doubt gnawed at him. How could a simple farmer change the fate of two species? Then came the day of the great battle. They had taken shelter in a ruined city, its skyscrapers broken and blackened by fire. But their enemies found them. Armored soldiers and alien assassins stormed the streets, their weapons turning night into chaos. Explosions shook the ground, collapsing buildings around them. Fire rained from the sky as warships battled overhead. Ethan fought through the ruins, dragging the sisters with him. Bullets and plasma scorched the walls as he fired back, his body moving with the skill of a soldier he thought he had buried. The girls clung to him, their screams drowned by the roar of battle. Then the grandmother fell. She collapsed in the rubble, her breath shallow, her time ending. Ethan knelt beside her, desperate. "Don't leave us now," he begged. Her eyes locked on his. "It is my time. My life ends, but yours begins. Protect them, Ethan. They are hope, and you. You are destiny." With those words, she closed her eyes and went still. The sisters wailed, their grief piercing the chaos. Ethan felt his heart break, but there was no time to mourn. Enemy forces surrounded them, tightening their grip. Explosions tore apart the last standing tower, fire swallowing the streets, and then the sky opened. A massive alien warship descended, blotting out the stars. From its dark hull, a figure emerged, an alien warlord clad in black armor, his voice echoing across the city like thunder. "Ethan." The warlord roared. "The prophecy is true. The bridge has been found." Ethan froze. His name. How could this warlord know his name? The sisters clung to him, their silver eyes glowing brighter than ever. Energy pulsed through the air, making the rubble tremble. Ethan felt it's the power inside them, awakening. The warlord raised his weapon, and the city shook. "Give them to me, human, or watch your world burn." Ethan tightened his grip on the girls. He was no longer just a farmer, no longer just a soldier. He was the last wall standing between them and destruction. The sisters looked up at him, their eyes filled with both fear and hope. And as the warlord's army closed in, Ethan realized the truth. His last stand had begun. The story ended in fire, smoke, and destiny on the edge of a battle that would decide the fate of both humans and aliens.